the 10mm round. As you know, it is my favorite round of choice. We're going to talk about the Glock 20, the Glock 29. You're staring right now at some ammunition. This is 1,000 rounds of Georgia Arms, so we'll talk about ammo in this video. We're going to talk about some carry systems, like a shoulder holster system. And what I'm going to do is, you've seen this photo of my wife behind me for about a year now. I'm going to roll in some footage of just her wrist shooting first a .45 caliber just to show the recoil, and then her shooting a Glock 20 to compare the recoil to prove that it's not all that much for a 5'2", 120-pound female to handle a Glock 20. This is one awesome cannon, and by the way, I finally got Tammy to agree to come on the channel in the future because I want her to help me promote the NRA. Just yesterday, I put a photo up of her. We were at a Halloween party, and she was dressed up in her outfit. And I put a photo of her up on the Weapons Education Facebook page. So you can see her right now, modern day. That's when we got married. On the Facebook page, that was last night at the Halloween party. And if you go to the homepage of weaponseducation.com, go to the top right to the Facebook icon, you can see that. Give her some positive comments because she's a little camera shy to get on camera and to be seen in public and things like that. But we need a female's perspective on guns on this channel, and I'd like to bring it to the next level of really to get a lot of females on board so we get our spouses, girlfriends, and things like that on board to carry. So you'll see her shooting in this video. I got some footage of her shooting, like I said, a .45, then the Glock 20, and then I'm going to roll in at the very end. Who's that? We know who that is. The Gunny, r.lee Army. And I have some footage of the Glock spokesman. We're talking about Glocks right now. I'm just so happy to talk about Glocks. You know, I'm a huge Glock fan. I've got them all. And we're going to focus in on this baby right here. This Glock 20C. It's got a compensator on the top. We'll talk about that. Should you get the 20 or should you get the smaller 29? We'll talk about that. And we'll talk about the fact that you can put the Glock 20 magazine inside the 29. And we're talking the most powerful Glock made. 15+1 rounds in this Glock 20. Slightly more powerful than a .357 Magnum. Think about that. 16 rounds in your semi-automatic of Magnum Force. Let's talk about this. I'm excited about the 10mm. Very excited about other manufacturers contacting me to continue to talk about the 10mm round as a whole. As a matter of fact, we've got companies like Rock Island Armory now making a 1911 10mm, and you know what? The 10mm as a whole is making a huge comeback, and that's what we want to talk about is the 10mm, and we're going to focus in on the 20 and the 29 in this video. Sit back, relax. Welcome, my friends, to weaponseducation.com. Whenever we speak about the 10mm round, it is only fair to give credit to Lieutenant Colonel Jeff Cooper. He passed away in 2006. He was in the United States Marine Corps. And you know, what he wanted to do was get a round with better ballistics than the .45, a flatter trajectory, greater range, and he nailed it with the 10mm. So back in 1983, he developed this round, and Brent 10, the pistol, came to life. And it's only fair that we bring that up, because what happened after that was, wow, the world found out about this amazing, powerful round. The FBI tried to adopt it, and what they did was they used this gun right here. I happen to have one, a Colt Delta Elite. It's a 1911, and the FBI said, well, it's a little too powerful for our agents, this, that, and the other. I don't get that, and they went to Smith & Wesson, the FBI did, and said, hey, can you help us out? We kind of like the cartridge, but it's a little too powerful, and they shortened it to the 40 caliber, and that's how we get the birth of the 40 caliber. We'll do a separate video on the Colt Delta Elite, which is still being produced today, and the 10 millimeter is back in a huge way. Like I said, I'm communicating with these gun manufacturers, and they're actually thanking me for talking about the 10 millimeter so much, because a lot of other manufacturers are jumping on board, and that also means more ammo for us. They're going to have other ammunition manufacturers create and design their own line of ammunition for 10 millimeter. But moving on, after the FBI realized that it wasn't right for them, something else happened simultaneously to help the 10 millimeter. That was the show Miami Vice, and that brought the 10 millimeter to the limelight. That helped. And then also there was something called the Miami Shootout. I did a video on it, and the FBI, they were outgunned by rifles, this, that, and the other. That's a whole separate story, and that helped the FBI to want to get to the 10 millimeter. Then they realized the 10 millimeter is too powerful. Then they went to the 40 cal, but we have the 10 millimeter making a massive, massive comeback. So right now, let's get to the focus of the video and talk about the two guns that this video is focused on. Let's start with the Glock 20. Okay, now, I spoke about the 20 and the 29 in the past. I had mentioned that, well, if you want to carry one of these two puppies, maybe you should go with the smaller 29 for obvious reasons, because it's so much smaller. As a matter of fact, the Glock 20, I'll just give you some general specs right now. The length of the barrel is approximately 1 inch longer than the length of the 29. It's 4.6 inches, and the 29 is about an inch shorter at 3.7 inches. So, you know, when we're talking about such a powerful round, I've realized that the more I shoot the 29 and the 20, even though you can put the 20 magazine into the 29, we'll get into that and how you do it comfortably. That 20 package, that to me, that is the deal for the 10 millimeter. That's the way to go to me. For approximately $600, let's talk about some other dimensions. The width is identical. We got a Glock, you know, that's blocky slide is 1.27, and then 1.27 as far as width. And always look at dimensions when you're buying a gun. Now, some big differences in dimensions is height. Now, on the smaller 29, right there, you're looking at a short height of right at 4.4 inches, and then you go to the 20 and at 5.4, an inch taller. So it's much, much bigger. And I think, you know, when you're putting 15 plus 1, you could put in 16 rounds in that Glock 20 right there, and it's got a compensator on top. When you're putting 16 rounds of such massive amount of energy, as a matter of fact, I think I mentioned this, but if I didn't, I'll say it again. Those ballistic guys out there chime in, you know, at 50 yards or at 100 yards. Think about this. You guys who are into ballistics, what has more kinetic energy, more foot-pounds of pressure than a 45 does at the muzzle? For instance, the 45 has X amount of kinetic energy at the muzzle, and how much kinetic energy does the 10 millimeter have at 50 yards or 100 yards? The 10 millimeter has more at 100 yards with today's modern ammo like this Underwood. We're talking about a cannon. You know, let's go right into Recoil right now. Let me tie in some footage now I have of my wife shooting first the Smith & Wesson E-Class 45, which is a scandium frame, lightweight gun, and you'll see I don't see much recoil. Let's not look at her accuracy, all that. Let's look at her recoil in the wrist. That's what we're focusing in on now. And then let's see how she does with the 10 millimeter, 120-pound female compensator. And by the way, no, there is no flash coming out of that compensator. The flame does not get in your eyesight and all that kind of stuff. Let's do that right now. Let's roll into footage of my wife shooting and talk about recoil. Okay, she's got the Smith & Wesson E-Class 1911 45 ACP. Let's look at the recoil. She's shooting at the bottom right. Okay. Not bad. Yeah, she got that one right in there. The flames coming out of the 45. Okay, that was the 45. Now let's go into the 10 millimeter, right now. Okay, she's got the Glock 20C 10 millimeter. She's shooting for the top left. Oh. This is all oil here. There she goes. She hit it. That's a big gun for 125. Whew. The rats came flying back. Whew. There she goes. Just getting closer. All right. She's empty. I think there's not too much of a difference in recoil with the 10 millimeter and the 45. And when we're looking at such a massive amount of energy coming out of this 10 millimeter, of course I'm going to hear about over-penetration. We're all aware of that. We should also be aware of know what's behind your target and all of the normal gun safety rules we know about self-defense. If you miss with a 45, if you miss with a 40, if you miss with a 9 millimeter and you hit a bystander, there's a good chance you're going to kill him, just like same thing with a 10 millimeter. Yeah, I know everyone's going to say the 10 millimeter is overkill. It's way, way, way too much power. As a matter of fact, there's some countries that they have their police departments use this for polar bears. And it just came to mind. One of the local police departments where I live, it's a little small city called Coconut Creek near Fort Lauderdale. It's one of the few cities in the whole United States that pack a 10 millimeter. Rock on, Coconut Creek Police Department. So which one should you get? Well, let's talk about that right now. The Glock 20 is a one big solid piece. It's excellent for open carry. It's excellent for the great outdoors. And it's excellent for a shoulder holster system. You're not going to want to put this inside the waistband, of course. It's too big of a gun. It's like the 21. It's the same size gun. It's a huge gun. So, you know, I'm very proud of my shoulder holster system. And this basically gives you 16 rounds in your gun and 2 spare 15-round mags, beautifully, comfortably fitted perfectly for your height, your weight. We call you and we custom hand stitch these shoulder holsters, and this is the way to carry a Glock 20 concealed. Open carry, out in the great outdoors, law enforcement, you want this by your side. If I was a cop, this is 100% the gun I would have. You know, you got to shoot through a windshield, no worries. Yeah, you got to shoot through a car door, no worries. You've got so much kinetic energy coming out of that gun. You're going to get the job done. So, should you go with the 20? Yeah, I just talked to you how you can carry it. Well, how about the 29? A wonderful package. Much, much smaller. 10 plus 1 rounds. You got 11 rounds. That's a lot of rounds of 10 millimeter. So, and it's a smaller package. It's the same size as the Glock 30, the 45 caliber. That's a great, great option. The triggers are both the same at 5.5 pounds approximately. What you can do is you could put that Glock 20 magazine inside of your 29. I have a lot of 29s. I got 4 or 5 of them and a lot of 20s to show you that I believe in the product. And this is the product you would use for the grip extension. Is that it's called A&G grip extenders. Okay, and this is what, I'm not used to recording on my own here. This is what it's going to look like. See this? Goes up and down. You put that on top of the Glock 20 magazine and it slips right inside of your 29. So it's a sweet package, but I will say it's a little wiggly wobbly right here. A little. There's no malfunctions at all. If I'm really going to be nitpicky, it's just not the whole solid package that you have with the 20. I'm saying if you're going to get a 10 millimeter, I would go for the 20. Even though in the past I said grab the 29, after shooting this so many times, that 20 with the compensator on top is really a great way to go. Let's talk about ammo briefly. The cost is going to come up. It's not cheap. Ammunition is going to get even more expensive. There's no way around it. It's a commodity. It's very expensive. For range ammo, what I do is I go to Georgia Arms, the .com. It's going to say sold out every time you log in. Check back later, check back later. You can check back 1,000 times over the next year. It's always going to say sold out. What I tell my audience, my friends out there, you call them on the phone and say, here's my credit card. I want 1,000 rounds. Make sure you order brand new ammo, whether you want full metal jacket or hollow point. And you know what? 2 to 3 weeks later, maybe a month, you'll get that huge bucket at your front door at around, right now, when I'm making the video, 60, 70 cents a round. That's, that's still pricey, but, self-defense ammo, really, really, really hot stuff, like Underwood, Buffalo Bore is another one that comes to mind. That stuff's really pricey, well over $1 a round. You're not going to shoot it too much. You're going to test your gun with it, and then hopefully you'll never shoot it the rest of your life. These high-end, high-quality hollow points. And you look at some of these numbers, 125 grains, 1,600 feet per second. Okay? There's 180, and there's 230. And everyone's going to ask me, well, Tom, what do you put in your gun? My gosh, dead is dead is dead. I put the 230. I'd rather have the heavier bullet because most gunfights are done at a closer distance, and the more let down into that human flesh, the more kinetic energy. I would go with the 230, but choose whichever one you want. Underwood's a great choice, and if it says out of stock on any of this stuff, double tap Underwood, Georgia Arms, call them. Even tell them Weapons Education mentioned you. They know who I am. And say, hey, can you do me a favor? You're going to have to cough up the money and buy it. But you know what? You got one go-to-war gun that is second to none. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I gave you some insight and got you excited. That's my goal, is to get you excited about the 10 millimeter. It's making a huge, huge comeback. Like I said, Rock Island Armories now designing it. There's some other manufacturers that design it. Kimber, I have the 10 millimeter Kimber. It is really one of my favorite 10 millimeters. I showed you the Delta Elite, an awesome 10 millimeter. I'm familiar with the SDI and all the like the Dan Westons and stuff like that. Let's right now finish up the video with one of the most beloved actors of all time, one of the most pro-gun people there are in the world, and that's the Gunny. When I met him, I want to show you what a nice guy he is, and I got him to yell at me in all good fun, because as you know, the Gunny, if you've seen Mal Call, the show on the History Channel, and how he likes to, hey, get down and give me 20, and how he jokes around and laughs. I got the Gunny to yell at me, and I thought this would be a nice way to end the video. My friends, thank you. Go out there and get yourself a 10mm and let the Gunny put a smile on your face. All right. Till next time, my name is Tom. Please subscribe and enjoy watching my time with the Gunny. I'm going to tell him I was a slacker. He might yell at me. I'm going to try to get him to yell at me. He doesn't know it. All right, weaponseducation.com. I'm with the Gunny. And tell my audience, what was like the favorite part of Full Metal Jacket, for instance?
Paychecks.
Paychecks. Good answer.
I love paychecks. They always do. I just enjoy paychecks. I don't know.
How about the History Channel, that series? I loved it.
Paychecks.
Paycheck?
Well, and that, and you know, I figured out a way where I could actually do a show, host a show, and work, and actually blow stuff up, shoot the guns, not have to police up the brass, not have to clean the guns, and usually not pay for the bullets, not, you know,
that's a good job.
Not even my gun, you know, somebody else loaned me the gun.
What about the Glock? What can you tell the audience about Glock? What separates Glock from all the other manufacturers?
They work better.
They work better.
Plain and simple. They're a simple gun. Casco and Glock, when he sat down and made the sketches and did the research and built this gun, put a lot of thought into it. He wanted to keep it as simple as he possibly could. I mean, my wife sat down and I told her how to get it apart. And she was able to take it all the way down, put it all back together, and I just sat there and watched it. That's how simple it is. My wife is no quiz kid. I mean, she's when it comes to mechanical, I come home and she'll meet me at the door and say, "Thank God you're home. The lights burned out in our bathroom." You know, because she is not mechanically inclined enough to change a light.
But she can take a Glock apart.
She can take a Glock apart, put it back together, and she can shoot it, she can do it.
You're not going to yell at me, are you? Because I was kind of slack. Do you mind yelling at me?
I get paid the big bucks to yell at me.
Can you yell at me?
No, hell no. If I owned a goddamn gun store, would you ask me if you could have my guns? And that's my product.
I gotcha.
Well, we can't dilute the product.
Can't dilute it.
What the hell is your major malfunction anyway? Now, why don't you just drop down on your fat belly and give me about 20? No, because we don't have a corpsman here. You would probably have a freaking heart attack.
You're right.
As out of shape as you are. Okay, now get over here in front of my desk and let's take care of this business.
I'll give you 20, all right?
All right.
Weapons education, guy.
There will be no 20. Weapons education. Let's see, this is Tom.
And the channel is Weapons Education.
Well, first of all, I'll do one for weapons education.
Oh, thank you.
This one's for the office.
Okay, thank you. It's Tom then. He's spending a lot of time with everybody. Wonderful.
You know what, Tom? If I didn't jump around and play with everybody in line, this would be a miserable job. I could not imagine standing here all day. I stand here 8 hours.
I know.
3 days. It's actually going to be 4 days in a row before it's over. And if I couldn't play around and joke and have fun with everybody in line, this would be a pretty boring job, I got to tell you.
I can tell you're having a good time.
I always have fun. It's all about having fun and, of course, paychecks.
Paychecks. You like those paychecks,
Paychecks are important, yeah. Okay, Tom, there we go. Now, weapons education.
Weapons education.
Is that your company?
That's my channel on YouTube.
So everybody worldwide will be checking this out.
Education.
A-U-C-H-E-D-U-C.
E-D-U.
U-C-A-T-I-O-N. I-O-N. I-O-N. You got it.
There you go.
But I did get him to yell at me, for the record.
pull that strap across and look at that. Well, now there you go, Tomcat.
Thank you,
Got
sir.
you squared away.
All right.
Good?
Checking out from the Glock shop, the Gunny.
Yeah.